Alright, how's it going guys? AlphaYGO back at it again, and today I got you that promised Dino deck profile. I got my good friend Richard Zhang here. We just top locals, and he's probably the most competent Dino player I know. He's been playing this for what, how many years now?
Ever since it came out.
Ever since it came out, obviously. So he's a very competent Dino pilot, and he's very innovative with it, but not meme. So I'm really excited to showcase his list. And do you have anything to say before we start?
No, nothing much.
Alright,
Get
let's
into
go.
it. Alright, for the list, it's pretty standard core. 3 Soul Eating Overraptor. It's the heart and soul of the deck. I don't have to explain why you have to play 3. It's just the best. And also 3 Miscellaneousaurus. Also another one of your really unfair broken cards. So yeah, you always want to max out on him because, especially if you going second, this is the most important card because you just play through all your opponent's disruptions without having to worry about them. So you can just clear them when you're starting the combo off. It also it helps that you don't have to search it because your opponent will try to actually overraptor, right? And so you can just drop it on them and they'll have wasted a hand trap on it or something. So you have to max out. One Giant Rex. It's not that important to play multiple. So you just want to play one of it. So you have the option to go into it and stuff. So you have to play it. And then for the baby lineup, I play just one of each. I personally don't agree with playing any more babies in this because babies turn 1 by themselves don't do much. And especially with a blind second deck, you have to have as many cards live as possible on when you're starting to play it, right? It's only good if you have a conductor or something or a way to destroy it. So this is why I personally just made it as small as possible so I wouldn't draw them and I'd have more playable hands.
Is there a reason you play 1-1 instead of 2 baby? Because traditionally it was 2 baby before, right?
Yeah, because there are many weird interactions going first that you need petite, right? Because going first, Overraptor Miscellaneousaurus gets you a decent combo, right? And you let the baby die during the end phase, right? If it was baby Ceratosaurus, you really wouldn't have a good target to summon out. But with Petite Pteranodon, you can summon out Pancratops, which is another disruption on top of it, which is really nice.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
That's it for the babies. And then I just play 1 Drac Alo.
How often does this card float to your hand?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
I mean, it's 1v games where I've drawn it.
Oh, what? Oh.
Because I make Link Reba with it to drop extra dinosaurs in the graveyard.
300 IQ.
Yeah. You have to play it for Chambara and other interactions. And then for the big dinosaurs, 3 Ultimate Conductor. You have to play 3 because you're not. If you have him in your hand already, you don't have to go through all the trouble of searching him, which can be interrupted and stuff with especially with Judgment running around, Strike. A lot of disruption is running around right now, so it's nice to just have it in your hand. So when you push with all your dinosaurs and they get rid of them all, you can just drop this on them, and then you can blow open the game at that point. It's also just nice to have multiples because if you see it, you can always it just makes your OTKing a lot easier. That's basically it. It's just you have to. Then other big dinosaurs, 2 Dogoron.
So even when the Kaiju Slumber came back to 3, we decided to cut Kaiju's off entirely. So why that?
Because when it came back, we were still in the middle of last format, which is had a lot of Salamangre, a lot of Orcas. So during that format, Slumber wasn't really good because you couldn't always physically resolve the Slumber because with Balinks protecting the Salad's entire board, you couldn't destroy anything. And along with Orcas sending they still had double Fogblade and a Crescendo, right? Or double Fogblade Dingirsu pop, right? So it just wasn't good enough. It wasn't always going to be live enough and wasn't going to be guaranteed to blow apart your opponent's board to warrant playing it. So yeah, I mean, but it's still nice to have Kaijus in the main. Striker still exists. Dealing with Salads, dealing with problematic monsters on the board. Yeah. So I think you still have to play it.
Yeah, of course. Also, it's a dinosaur one, so it's searchable.
It's dinosaur. It triggers Lost World, which is main thing. Also, 3 Pancratops.
How do you feel about 3? Versus 2.
Before I was playing 2, but now I feel like I should play 3, especially with the rise of other decks, because Orcus is now in an extremely weakened state. This can deal with their entire board. There's if it's just a bomber, then you can just summon it and pop it. If it's Crescendo, you just force out the Crescendo. But also there's a lot of Pendulum coming out, and there's a lot of Guru coming out, so it's really just good against those now. And Salad, the decks that wasn't really good against, Salad is starting to take die back a bit because it's just you need more cards to make it work. So I think it's just right now it's just really good, and I want to max out on it.
Awesome.
And then for something a little bit unique, I guess.
Now, what in the world are these?
All right, so this is Tenyi Spirit Vishuddha from the new set. So basically, if you control no effect, what it does is if you control no effect monsters, you can just special it for free. Then you link it off for the. It has a graveyard effect. So if you control a non-effect monster, you can banish it from your graveyard to target a card your opponent controls and bounce it to their hand. So what this is basically 3 extra copies of Pancratops in my deck. Because this lets me just tear apart my opponent's board with this and Pancratops, and also it's a non-destructive way to get rid of monsters. Because beforehand with Colossus, right, it was a big problem for the deck to out because you needed to hard draw the Conductor. But with this, you're allowed to out those things, and also it also provides a non-dinosaur body on board, which makes Pill live, which I just personally just really like it a lot. Yeah. So that's it, and also I forgot 1 Overtext.
Oh.
Another dice. I mean, it's like
The other card that floats to my hand all the time.
yeah. Play 1. You don't want to draw this.
But it's not the end of the world because like Lost World can pop it in your hand, right?
Like there's some interactions where like it's like, okay to draw it, but I just prefer not to have it for the reason of like having more playable cards like off the bat.
Yeah.
Hand traps. Flying second, so
Wow.
requisite 3 Ash.
I hear this is a good card.
Wow, yeah, I know. You have to play it. Wow. Blinding second, so yeah.
But I hear it's only good at their secrets.
Shut up, I used to have them. I got poor.
Alright.
3 Ghost Ogre.
3 Ghoster. So why Ogre in this format?
Because now with like Salamangreat dying down, and like a lot of the decks that are coming out, like Draco, Pendulum, and grew in this undefined format, right? It's Ogre is really good against those, and I feel like it just does more than like some of the other hand traps that you can play. So I just chose to max out on it. It's really good, stopping combo decks, and it's like you just want to do it because stopping your opponent's play is all you need if you can if you just drop a Conductor and just tear apart what's left. So yeah, that's why I play it. And also I chose to play 3 Droll.
Why do you play it?
Because like especially with like again like with the decks that in this undefined part right now, like Draco Guru, and the Pendulum, right? They do a lot of searching and adding to their hand. So if you drop this on them, they can't establish a fully complete board, which makes it a lot easier for you to destroy what's there and just kill them. Because also it stops some weird rogue decks, which is also nice. But I feel like this just can be an extremely high impact card in the right situations, and I just want to main deck it because people aren't generally gonna play around this turn 1, game 1, right? So if you drop it on them, you can catch them by surprise, and you can make them play in a very suboptimal manner, which for this deck is enough room for like you to kill them, or like just to take over the board, which is why I play it. Spells? 3 of the field spell.
Yeah.
It's the best.
It's really
good. It does everything for the deck, and then 1 terraforming.
The extra terraforming gone isn't that big.
It's not that bad because before you had the problem where you could potentially open like multiple Lost Worlds, which is like a problem. But I feel like this is just really nice now.
yeah.
Also play triple Fossil Dig, Rhoda for the entire deck.
That's standard.
And then I chose to play double Pill. I think it's also the standard number. It's a once per turn. You see it, but like it's not like
it's also searchable.
Yeah, so, searchable with like other cards. You have many ways to get to it. So it's like 2 is fine. Then I also decided to main double Twin.
So
back row is.
Are you that scared of back row in this format right now?
Not the most. Even with the reason why like I'm not the most worried about like back row is that like Judgment especially, it does half the work for you. Having your opponent's life points just makes it a lot easier for you to OTK your opponent anyway.
Yeah.
And plus like you have cards like against most standard back row, you have Miscellaneous Source anyway, which is a searchable 3 of, and I feel like you can always just side in more back row hate game 2 and 3 anyways. So like I feel like just 2 is fine because I don't want to just like draw this against a combo deck like Pendulum. Like I just still want to have the option in my deck, but I just don't want to like constantly open it, right?
If we enter a format where it's not so back row heavy, would you still main these just in case, or would you?
I would probably just side them then, because if it becomes more combo heavy, then I'd maybe consider playing more hand traps instead to like stop those combo decks.
Makes sense.
And then 1 Foolish Burial.
Oh, it's a common.
Shut up. Shut up. It's Old Faithful.
Oh, Old Faithful. I like that. All right.
Old Faithful. Yeah.
So moving on to the extra deck.
Yeah. So
They can't
4 super poly
fight
targets.
the power. Alright, so 4 super poly targets. Now, all of these seem pretty standard for the most part. We've seen them, but what about this boy?
Okay, so Metalfoes Crimsonite. The reason why I play this is because you're not, when your opponent catches on that you're playing dinosaurs, they may potentially make you start, right? Or like if just to throw off your opponent, right? You just blind go first, right? Especially this is only like comes up for pendulum, but you summon it with a Metalfoes monster and 2 monsters with 3,000 or less like attack. So what you do is your opponent commits to the Electromite, right? Then they pendulum summon out their monsters, and then you at that moment you can like let them go into Alpha first, right? Then you just super poly their entire board away because you can super poly the Electromite, which counts as a Metalfoe, and any two of their monsters because they're generally not going to summon a monster that's over 3,000.
Disgusting.
And they can't respond.
Disgustingly good, but you know what?
Yeah.
That's some spice.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of extra deck space in here because there isn't much that you have to play, right? 1 Chambara. It's for the Aeolo play.
Yeah. Just straight up OTK.
OTK, yeah. Rank 4s, Abyss Dweller.
Yeah, obviously.
Graveyard Reliant decks. 1 Tornado for back row. It's like, and then the Evolzers. I think those are better.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that.
Dolka with against like some combo decks is just ridiculous because it's not once per turn monster negate that destroys. So for certain decks, they just can't get rid of it. And it does a lot. And then 1 Logia, Judgment.
Oh yeah.
Some decks require the normal summon, or it's just a good XCs to protect yourself with.
Especially when you have to go first.
When you have to go first, yeah. When you don't know what you're playing against, you just summon this. Or if it's still good.
Yeah, can't hurt.
Yeah. And then I also play 1 Gustav Max.
It's just fat cowboy basically.
It's insurance.
It's insurance.
Because it's possible for you not to OTK your opponent with like 2 conductors, where you get like a second conductor after the battle phase. So this just lets you like kill your opponent in those weird situations.
Yeah.
So like yeah, it's always nice to have.
Disgusting.
For links, 1 Link Revo.
For the Aeolo thing that you mentioned, yeah.
It's also for the mirror match.
The mirror. Oh, that's. Oh, you're right. That's gross.
Because it gets rid of the token, which makes your opponent's life a lot harder if they have Lost World. So that's nice. But also like getting the Elo to the graveyard randomly comes up a lot where you don't want to leave the Overraptor on board. I mean, you already have another Dinosaur in graveyard, right? You don't have to link away with the Overraptor, and plus like you can. This is also a way to get to a non-dinosaur in your graveyard with like just Overraptor, right? Because you can always summon out the Elo, make this, and then link away the Overraptor and this into something else, which loads up the graveyard with a non-dinosaur, which is always nice. 1 Monk.
This is for the Tenyi tech that you have.
Engine
before.
Requirement for the Tenyi. It's a non-effect that you summon.
This is the non-effect that like you would have to use its graveyard effect, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Saucy.
Maybe I might consider playing more because the problem is that the Tenyi itself doesn't really do anything past like if I lose this. So maybe I might consider playing more just so I can like use the Tenyi more than once because that could be a problem.
Yeah, makes sense.
Other links, Reprodocus. This is literally only for in case I open Lost World plus like a free special summon, which is like the Tenyi, and then like a hand trap or something, right? Because this is a dinosaur and triggers Lost World, so you can an extremely subpar combo. Summon this under Lost World, and then trigger Lost World, and then just attack into the token to trigger to get the Overraptor to get your engine started.
It's a bit of a desperation play,
desperation.
but you have a lot of room in the extra deck, so it's okay to like have like plan you have like plan C to your plan A and B basically.
Also, like it's another dinosaur, so if you get it to the graveyard, it's just conductor fodder.
Yeah.
Best link.
When you showed me this card, I was like, this is a must play in basically every dino list.
You have to because. It lets you pierce with conductor.
So instead, it can potentially just be doing more than 1,000 per attack.
Because especially if you attack into like a token, like the 0 defense token from like Lost World, it does 3,500 to your opponent, which is like you're gonna die. And like also like a lot of monsters, if you just set them and like you just do more damage to them if you just attack through their defense than just sending them a conductor's effect. So I feel like you just have to play it because it lets you OTK randomly with like hands. And also just play 1 Phoenix.
Yeah, just back row removal.
Back row removal, outs, floodgates, problematic cards. It's nice to have.
Yeah. Alright, and finally the side deck, I believe, right?
Yep. Side deck.
I know side decks are usually like very format dependent, but do you have like a rationale for something like this?
So this is the Kaiju engine. It's against certain decks that like don't put up like that many like spell negates, and like it's
Oh, and like
stuff.
stuff that doesn't have hard protection.
Yeah,
stuff.
hard protection. It's basically for decks that just don't have hard protection, because with this, I can like break apart their board, and especially for Sky Striker, right? Because the Slumber is a way to out Mystic Mine. It forces both players to have monsters, and also just the Kaijus are just really good against Striker in general.
And I know in particular this guy right here is just another level 10 for
Yeah.
the Gustav Max, right?
You know what? The only reason I'm playing the level 10 one over any other one is because I can just make Gustav Max with it. That's like that's the only other
Ridiculous.
interaction. So yeah. I also decided to play triple Super Poly.
Triple Super Poly.
This is it's a good going second or first card I like to have, because you don't always know if your opponent's gonna like make you start.
Yeah.
Because like there's a reaction, like some players might make you start, but some others might not, thinking that they can play through, right? So I just like putting this in because it's good going first or second, because I can use it to break apart the board, or I can use it to interrupt the board.
Yeah.
So like it's just nice to have.
Insane.
Yeah, and also like seeing it at 3 makes it a lot easier to play it.
Disgusting.
Also, for more back row hate, I played 2 Cosmic and a Twin Twister, and I guess I can also put out the 2 Typhoons. So this is just for like more back row heavy matchups.
Yeah.
Like True Draco, Guru, those kinds of matchups. And so,
Back row is basically like Dino's like
worse.
worst enemy at this point,
Yeah,
right?
because Miscellaneous Source, if they don't negate it, you can just use Conductor to get rid of all the monsters, which isn't a problem there. But back row, because like if you can't really play around a Strike, you can't really play around a Judgment on the Conductor, right? So with these you can remove them before, right? But this serves as a double purpose to out floodgates, face up spells on your opponent's turn, right?
Even this card's not too bad against the pendulums,
Yeah,
right?
it's you can flex into the pendulum. You can flex against the matchups like, especially like True Draco, right? Because some players will get like greedy and go for like the heritage draw multiple 2, right? So you can always just hit them with this on the heritage, and it hurts them a lot. But also, if you don't open any back row and you're starting to combo off, right? If your opponent flips over a floodgate, right, you can just activate this from your hand, right? If you have no spells, and you can just clear it like that. So I just like it.
Litty titty.
And also, this is the spice from Got From You.
The
Triple Torrential.
The Torrential Tribute.
Okay.
Now, tell me, how did this perform for you?
Very well. I liked it a lot. Basically, this is just another like contingency plan for when you're going first, right? Because against a lot of combo decks, right, they can extend off to a certain point in time, right? But then you just flip this against them, and they're like, okay, I've just overcommitted my entire board, right?
Exactly.
And then they just lose everything, and they can't come back, right? Meanwhile, you still potentially have a Conductor, a Miscellaneous Source, or like an Overraptor, just to establish a Conductor or get like your board established, right? And they just can't play through it at that point. Also, there's also like fun blowing up like the babies, because like you can always go like summon the baby out under like.
It's just another way to like trigger your babies or your Lost World tokens.
Yeah,
right?
but it's just mainly just another way for me to go first.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like which has always been a problem, because if you open extremely subpar, you just sit on nothing, right? So like this is just nice to have.
Anyways, all right. Thank you so much, Richard, for this spicy Lost World Dino deck profile. Is there anything you'd like to say or any shoutouts?
Shoutouts to Team Invoker.
Team Invoker, you're gonna shout out another channel on my channel. That's also fine actually.
Yeah.
But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.